Welcome to the Cleverly Changing podcast. Our podcast is all about learning how to educate your kids. I'm one of the hosts, Elle, and this is episode 40. Today, I'm sharing with you a bonus episode in honor of National Sickle Cell Awareness Month. Today's episode will not be strictly about homeschooling. Today's episode is about saving people's lives. This month, I partnered with Be the Match and the Sickle Cell Community Consortium to help increase the number of Black donors on their registry. Right now, there are over 22 million people on the registry, but only 4% of them are Black. If you are a Black person with cancer or a rare disease such as sickle cell disease, and you're in need of a donor, then that person only has a 23% chance of finding a match. So, why is this important to me? I am parenting a child who is living with sickle cell disease, and more than anything else in the world, I would love for her to one day be cured. So, in honor of Sickle Cell Awareness Month, I want to give back to my community by helping to increase the donor registry. So let me tell you a little bit more about me. I am an entrepreneur, mom to twin girls, and this podcast is not only for parents who homeschool their children, but it is for all parents who want to supplement their child's education. Our goal is to provide you with encouragement, insight about African history, and support as a parent and home educator. New episodes are uploaded bi-weekly, so please remember to subscribe and share. If you want to keep this podcast going, please consider supporting it by donating to our Patreon page at a low monthly cost. Visit patreon.com/cleverlychanging. Or you can go to our show notes and click on the link that will take you to the Patreon page. Today's African proverb is, hold a true friend with both your hands. And that is a Nigerian proverb. Again, the proverb says, hold a true friend with both your hands.
It's now time for the word of the episode.
Tuko pamoja. It simply means we are together. People in East Africa often use this saying when reassuring their support to their friends or colleagues. It is seen as a message of unity and solidarity. We need the love and support of our village. Think of ways you can support your community.
Today's podcast episode is sponsored by my book, A Sickle Cell Coloring Book for Kids. The book can be purchased on Amazon. Just type in a sickle cell coloring book for kids and you can own your own copy. Please remember to leave a review and tell a friend. Thank you. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cleverly Changing podcast. I am your host, Elle Cole from the blog cleverlychanging.com, and today we have a really special program. September is National Sickle Cell Awareness Month, and if you follow any of my pages, from time to time you see that Sickle Cell Awareness Month is my month. It is the month where I talk about my experience raising a child with sickle cell anemia, which is called sickle cell disease. And it is a time when I want other people to really know about this genetic disorder and how they can really make a difference. This month in 2020,
it's a little different. I'm actually a grant awardee, and I'm partnering with the Sickle Cell Community Consortium as well as Be the Match Registry to get more Black donors between the ages of 18 and 44 to join the registry. Why do we need people to join the registry? Because it is a cure. It is a cure for some sickle cell patients, as well as some cancer patients and some other rare diseases. Unfortunately, if you are African American on the registry, it can be really hard for people to find a match. And so it is my goal to help make a difference. I am trying to raise awareness and get 25 people to sign up for the national registry with Be the Match. And so to do that, you text 61474. You text the words S as in Sam, C as in cat, 3, Carly, that's C as in cat, A as in apple, R as in rat, L as in lion, E as in elephant, Y as in yellow. So you text SC3 Carly to 61474 to join the registry. And what they will do, they will send you a cheek swab kit. You just swab the inside of your cheeks and then you send it back. So I have a guest with us today who is going to share her experience. The My guest is a dear friend of mine who was so willing to join the registry that she actually joined the registry and got a call back. So I am talking with her today and getting her to share her story with you guys so that you can know what this is all about, what it entails, what the process is like, just so that you can be informed. So right now, I would love for you to introduce yourself to everyone and let them know who you are.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Abera, and I am from New York, Bronx, New York. Me and my Carly have known each other a very long time, and I'm so proud of her for doing this podcast as well as just being a champion for sickle cell awareness. I donated I'm registered actually through Be the Match organization many, many years ago. I registered initially while I was in college, I believe freshman or sophomore year of college, as a tribute to my friend or our friend and our mate from high school, Dorrit Palmer, who had a form of cancer that could have been actually treated with stem cell or bone marrow transplant. So that was like my motivating factor to become a registrant through Be the Match.
Yes. So that was, wow. I never even knew that you joined the registry because of Dorette. Dorette was, wow, she was an amazing person. And in her last years of her life, I had the opportunity to actually be with her. And I watched her change. I watched her body go from an active teenager to skin and bones. And to be a young person like 18 years old and see your friend's life slipping away before your eyes was so difficult. And we were in college when she passed away. But the summer before college was when I spent time with her, and just eating was painful for her. And I think it had a profound effect on all of our lives. And I'm amazed that you did that because of her. I think that's very beautiful. And I mean, now I have a whole different personal experience that makes me willing to raise awareness and let other people know about Be the Match. But wow, this is definitely a full circle moment for us to have this conversation. And when you registered in college, what was the process like? What did you have to do?
I think you cut out a little bit.
What was the process like when you registered in college? What did you have to do?
Well, when we registered in college, they used to they call it tabling. I don't know if there's a new terminology for it now, where organizations, whether on campus or off campus, would set up a table in the student union all around campus, depending on, what designated area was available to them. And they would just, try to encourage people. They would have like pamphlets on their table and try to encourage people to register. It could be like a bone. It was the National Bone Marrow. I forgot the name of the entire organization. This was like 19 years ago, but it was like one table with the let's call it the National Bone Marrow Organization that was represented in the union of the campus, and then let's say they were sitting next to a student organization. So they just used to come on campus during various days, and this table try to get more donors, or more college students and grad students or even faculty, staff, and employees to just register. And it's the same process. I think they did either a cheek swab, or they did it's almost like a finger stick, like a blood, sample back then. And, before they even encouraged you, they talked to you about it. They gave you information about it. And one of the diseases that was mentioned was the cancer that, Dorette had. Like, oh, that can help people with this type of cancer. And with her, I was just like, during especially my freshman into a portion of my sophomore year, like me and Dorette would speak frequently, and I would complain to her about how I hated it there. And I think it was just the newness of it all. And even like, despite what she was going through, because we, were all there when she was in high school and she got diagnosed. And, we all like praying for her, but she still kept moving and still kept, being herself to a point, and like, encouraging others to, and helping them and talking to others while others were praying for her and encouraging her as well. But, that was, I think education about the diseases that a bone marrow transplant can be a cure for is very important, because I think a lot of people did not know that. And I will say, when I made this in honor of her, I didn't realize how much I kept it to myself, because I thought I shared this with you guys. And I think I mentioned it to her brother. He was like, oh, I didn't know you did that. I was like, I thought I told you. But I guess not. But I was just like, yeah, that was my initial incentive to sign up to be a registrant, or, a donor, because of her. Like, oh, wow, if I knew about this earlier, maybe it could have been something that I could have signed up for earlier. We could have, explored more. But I think I think a couple of months after she had passed, and that's because they educated also on what diseases this type of therapy help. And that's so important, because I don't think a lot of people know that this type of, therapy, this type of treatment can help many people who are affected with numerous cancers and sickle cell disease and other diagnoses and disorders that, they can get relief from.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So I'm wondering, you said that you first signed up 19 years ago in college. How long did it
Yeah.
take, once you were in the registry, how long did it take for them to give you a call back and say, ooh, I found a match?
I was actually trying to find that, because I remember writing a story about it, but I don't think I was called, I think either 2011. So about almost like 10 years after the fact. I was on the registry for a while, a very long time, before I was actually called to donate my marrow. It was a long time. It wasn't immediate at all. I was actually trying to find that information, because I wrote a little blog about this many years ago myself. But it was a very long time. I do know that. I wasn't called even while I was still in college. So I signed up maybe in 2001 or 2002, and I was called like 2011. It was a long gap. They definitely kept in contact, and, they definitely just followed up as an organization, be the match, to see if, I was still interested in being a donor, or if I wanted my name removed or things like that. They followed up in that way, but also just to see, if things had changed regarding wanted to stay on the donor list, but I wasn't actually called to be a donor till 2011.
Yes, because I was a mom when you were called, because I do remember you donating, and I was a full parent, which that took a while, and
Mm-hmm.
I just I remember thinking, wow, that's so selfless and so loving of you. Can you just talked about Durette and the fact that you did it with her in mind, but was there anything else maybe that encouraged you? Did you feel like you went into the process knowledgeable, and that's also what encouraged you?
Yes. I like, the education that I received back then. They give you a booklet, they have someone talk with you, they have someone almost like partner with you to see how you're doing with the information you receive. They do put you on certain medications, not medication, a medication one, to help increase your bone marrow prior to you actually donating. And someone is there, like you can call them at any time. I like the process in general. They have someone partner with you because it is a process. A lot of people, even though I'm a healthcare professional and I know certain aspects or more information about this process more than let's say the general public, but they put everything, very understandable, readable language. You have a partner that if you have any questions at any point in time that you can follow up with or call if you're having any questions and concerns. So I definitely loved that about the entire process. They educated you on what you would need to take, pre-procedure, what type of procedures were out there and available to the public. Like, it's not like be a donor and then they just put you on the table. No, they made sure you were very well educated, comfortable with the decision, and open to if you had any changes, didn't do it anymore, or anything like that. They um they would educate you and just walk you through that. And it was someone that actually worked for the Be the Match organization. I actually found the exact date I was a donor, actually, because I signed up in 2000 and I registered in 2002. I'm going to correct myself because I found the blog finally, but I didn't donate till December 19th of 2012.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that is amazing. Just listening to you talk about the process and the fact that they do provide you with education, it is so reassuring to me
Mhm.
that
Yeah. They
there
give you.
is a
Mhm.
process. Go on.
Mhm. Yeah. Like, and I love the fact that they have the process. They have a booklet. They have someone, there's a person that called you. I don't, it is almost like several years ago, but 8 years ago, but someone, I remember speaking to someone every day or every week that would just follow up. How you doing? How you feeling? How you doing with the medication? Because it goes through in that booklet, even though they tell you in person, they have a person educate you. It just reinforces in that booklet that they give you, serves as an additional educational source for, okay, what am I supposed to do? What medication I'm supposed to take? How am I supposed to take it? Oh, okay. The actual process as well, it's just a process. It depends on which type you do, but the one that I did was through, was it peripheral blood stem cell donation? It's just basically like having two IVs in your arm. It's a process of, it's called apheresis, which separating your stem cells from your blood plasma in one arm, separating it using a blood thinner through another machine, apheresis machine, and then whatever other part of the your blood they're not using outside of course the stem cells, they infuse back to you. So they would, like, they'll tell you what to take because you can have a reaction to any step of the process. So, you're encouraged and told to take calcium to help increase your calcium levels because the blood thinner binds to the calcium that's in your body. And unfortunately, during my process, I did have a reaction where I think my calcium levels did go lower because it was binding to the blood thinner that was used. And it was scary. I mean, I couldn't open my eyes and I couldn't move for some time, but the medical team that was around me worked extremely quickly to get me back to normal and watch me. They didn't just have me have a reaction, just throw me out the door. They really cared for me very well. And I recovered well. And of course, went home to rest. But, I know people who don't know about the process, who don't know about bone marrow donation, about registering, like, oh, well, what ifs can happen. And they do happen. And that's why, this organization, as well as these interviews that, my dear sister's doing, it serves as a tool of education, real life education, as well as the book education you'll be given. So um, that was what my process was a little like.
Yes, yes. So I appreciate you just sharing your experience with us. Can you tell, like, would you still recommend that people do it, even though you had a reaction to it? What are your thoughts around that?
I mean, honestly, if I didn't have a reaction, I would have done it again. Of course, it's gonna scare me a little bit, but I was just like, all right, I don't know. Everybody responds differently to everything, but generally, when they give, just like with any medication that is generally given out, the vast majority of the population will do well with it. One person may have a reaction, but they can't do that type of way again. But in general, I would do it again, just probably not the peripheral stem cell way again, or maybe I need to take much more calcium that was more than what was recommended. Um, I don't know. And I don't want to make assumptions either, like, oh, maybe I should do this or this and this. My body just responded differently. I followed the directions and my body just responded differently. And that happens. And that's real life. But because it's such a therapy and a treatment and cure that other people can really benefit from, I would encourage people to do it. I mean, I know even though I didn't donate till I signed up in 2002, I wasn't called till 10 years later. I also got a follow-up call to hear that my recipient was doing very well. I was like, and I was so reassuring to hear. I was like, oh, it didn't just, it's not sitting up, waiting to be infused in someone. Actually, someone needed the donation, received the donation, and actually recovered and is doing well from my donation. And that's heartwarming to hear. And there's so
Yes.
many of us that, who might have a disorder or that, can be treated by this. But, our registry for people of color is just low,
Yes.
and we need to build that up so we can serve as, therapies of help to others who may not be doing so well. So, I mean, though I had my story and, my reaction, if I didn't, I would have done it again without question, you know?
Awesome.
So,
Awesome.
you know, yeah.
I am so proud of you for saving someone's life. Like, that's something that people don't often think about doing in reality. It's kind of like something you see on TV, like, oh yeah, they
Mm-hmm,
saved somebody's life. But in reality, you can
mm-hmm,
actually save another person's life. And that's exactly
mm-hmm,
what you did. So, you're my
mm-hmm,
friend, but you're also a hero. And I'm super proud of you. I'm proud of you for sharing your story and being transparent, because I feel like it's important for us to let other people know. And that's exactly what you're doing. And I appreciate you. I know Dorette would be proud of you. I mean,
mm-hmm,
she lived her life in a way that was like, speak out. And I know that is one of the reasons why I'm always talking about it. Like wherever I go, I'm like,
mm-hmm,
about sickle cell, and I share that without shame,
mm-hmm,
because we have to be honest. As a community, there are
mm-hmm,
some health disparities that exist, that by us speaking out about them, we can make somebody's
mm-hmm,
life better. And so I appreciate you for sharing your experience and just being willing to do it. You did it, and you're alive to tell about it, and I think someone else is alive to be grateful for you. Now, I do have a question. Do you they so once you give the donation, they don't
Mm-hmm.
tell you who the person is? I know I've seen some stories on TV where the people
Mm-hmm.
get to meet, but I know that's not everybody's case.
Yeah.
Do you get to know what type of illness that the person had, even though, of course, you don't know who they are?
I don't. I think they gave me little bits and pieces of information, but I may have lost it. Um, if I do come across it again, because I'll forward it to you. But in reference to like just like they told me the person was male and in their 50s, and I think they mentioned the disorder that they were suffering from, but I don't quite remember it. So I just remember
Wow.
male and 50s. So that's all I remember. That's I probably have to find the email because you know me, I keep my emails forever. I probably have the email somewhere in the inbox just collecting dust, but from 8 or 9 years ago. But yeah, they do tell you like whatever information that they can, and if the donor, um, I think the donor didn't want to meet, so and that's perfectly fine. But they can tell you a little bit of information like that, as long as, of course, it isn't any form of violation. They can do that. So they did send that and share that with me. And I also wanted to add, I think, also not I think, but also I hosted a bone marrow drive. I think this was back in like 2014, also to increase awareness. So like if people aren't so comfortable with the donating themselves, they can still help in another way, by registering donors. Like during that drive, I think we were able to register 37 people. And I was like, that's amazing, because a lot of people are like, nope, nope, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. It was like a blood and bone marrow drive. So that also was like, okay, this is how we can continue to like get the education out there, and like what you're doing and what other people I hope will continue to do by like just registering people, getting the word out there, and keeping people informed.
Yes, yes. And I love that you hosted your own drive. Like that
I
is
hosted it with
goals
my
for
sorority.
sure. Well, that's
Yeah.
goals, like complete goals for me. So I just thank you for all that you have done for other people, and just your willingness. I mean, you're a very sweet and compassionate person. So I appreciate you sharing your story with my listeners on the Cleverly Changing podcast. Can you share any final words of wisdom for people who are maybe a little bit on the fence about donating? I love that you just mentioned about blood donation as well at your when you registered and hosted a drive, because one of
Mhm.
the treatments that people with sickle cell often get are blood transfusions. And so for people who are willing to give their blood, that is always needed as well. So
Mhm.
the Red Cross, like there are so many places that people can
There's
donate
some.
blood,
Mhm.
and they definitely should, especially people of color. There are people who live every day in need of blood. I used to think, prior to my experience with sickle cell, I used to think that it was like, I would think about car accidents, people needing blood, or, just some accident that happened. But it's not just that. Like some people need it for their lives to be sustained. And I know there are
Mhm.
many people with sickle cell where that is the case. So I just want to thank you for doing that once again. But if you could share some last words, that would be awesome.
Last words: be encouraged, be educated. I mean, we all are here, honestly, I feel, to help each other in one way, form, or another. So if you are questioning, oh, should I be a donor? Look up what diseases and, that being a donor can do to help someone else. As I mentioned before, like I didn't know that, sickle cell, not sickle cell, bone marrow transplants could help certain disorders like what our friend Dorrit had, the cancer she had. Or, I was not aware or fully aware of how it, even helps people who have sickle cell as well. And this was back when in 2002. So, go and engage yourself, engage the content, look up for yourself so you know what you're getting involved in as to, okay, who does this benefit? What your concerns are, because when you educate yourself, you may lessen your fears, you may lessen your concerns, and there's more than one way and one method that you can be a donor. So look up all that information and then make a very full you know complete decision moving forward. And then if after you've decided, be encourage someone else to join, pay it forward, educate them, add people from your family to or your immediate network to join the registry, because donors are needed.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Folks, you heard it here. Definitely share this podcast with a friend, share it with a family member. Let other people know that we are educating people. We are trying to raise awareness about issues that affect certain communities. So we need your help. We need you to register. I'm going to share that information about where you need to go to join the Be the Match registry. That is, you text SC3 Carly to 61474. That's S as in Sam, C as in cat, the number 3, Carly, that's C as in cat, A as in apple, R as in rat, L as in lion, E as in elephant, and Y as in yellow. Text that to 61474. 61474, or you could go to the link join.bethematch.org/SC3Carly. So thank you all for listening, and we appreciate you. All right, bye now.